Hello, viewers. This is Dorothy Mae Mercer for Talk Story TV. Today we're going to be interviewing a successful author of 4 books. He's also a winner of a fantastic award, a gold medal, and he's going to tell us a little bit about that, also about his books and some of the experiences that he's had trying to get published and becoming successful. So first of all, let me introduce you to Julius Thompson, our guest for today. How do you do, Julius?
Good, Dorothy. I'm so excited to be here. You know, it's a beautiful day in Georgia, nice, sunny, and I just feel so good to chat with you today and to talk with the national audience. I'm just very excited.
So you're in Georgia now?
Yes, I'm in Lawrenceville, Georgia. It's a small town outside of Atlanta, not too far from where I was born. I was born in the state of Georgia, and I moved to New York City when I was in 9th grade. Just imagine, Dorothy, if you were like in a small southern school, less than 200 people on a Friday, and then following Monday, you in Brooklyn, New York, with 3,000 people from all over the world.
Oh.
So that kind of set the tone for me.
I would be lost.
I was a little shocked.
You can see I live out in the country.
I see. It's beautiful with the trees and the sunshine. I just love it.
I do too. It's just great. We've had a lot of thunderstorms today in Michigan, but right now the sun is coming out.
Oh, I'm very familiar with thunderstorms in Georgia. We get a lot of those and a little tornado added to it.
Ooh, I don't like that idea.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? Right? What are you doing with your life now, Julius?
What I've done, just to give you a little background, when I was in high school, I had a great English teacher. Her name was Miss Egan. And I moved to Georgia. I was a little nervous, you know, small town. And I knew I had this talent for writing. So I said, I went to her face-to-face, and I said, Miss Egan, can I do it? And she's a stern teacher, and she's very sharp. She looked me in the eye and said, do it. And I've never looked back. I wrote for the New York Times, the Philadelphia Bulletin, and in 95, I wanted to get into novel writing, and that's when I started work on the trilogy, which started with the Brownstone in Brooklyn, Philly Style, Philly Profile, and Ghost of Atlanta, the National Award-winning book.
Great. That's wonderful. You work for the New York Times?
Yes, I was a copy boy. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you a cute story. When I was a copy boy, you know, they do different things. They carry stuff around. They get coffee. They go for it. So one day, the big editor said, I need you. And it was me, an editor, and a reporter. And what I didn't realize was what I was carrying was, and you're going to be shocked when I tell you, the Pentagon Papers.
Woo!
So I carried them up to the office where they were. But I was mad. I said, what are these heavy papers? What all this junk is? Never realized that that junk was changing history.
Just think, if you held on to that, you'd be rich now.
Rich. I would be teaching school now.
So you grew up in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Okay.
And the first book is called A Brownstone in Brooklyn. Now, what the first 3 books are is a trilogy. What I wanted to do was to take a character and let that character experience 3 decades, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. In the 60s, turbulent riots, Vietnam War, all the great things. And so his life was turbulent because things were going on. Then in the 70s, he moved to Philadelphia, and he dealt with drugs and gangs and all those problems that changed America. And then in the 80s, it's back to Georgia where it's like confined himself. And that's, can I challenge and take on those ghosts again, which is, things that happened in the past. So it's a trilogy, hence the name of the character. His name is Andy Michael Pilgrim, And if you think of it, pilgrimage. He was in a 30-year pilgrimage to find things out about life and himself, and that's the basis for the trilogy.
Yeah. I read some of the reviews. Sounds like fabulous books. And you had a lot of material in your life that you could draw upon to create this character.
Yes. What you do is it's not based on me, but based on experiences that I've had. And I use those experiences. And what I did, Dorothy, I used real settings. The settings are real. You can go to Brooklyn and you can go to Nostrand Avenue. You can go to Philadelphia, 4th and Woodland, and you can go to Atlanta and you're on Highway 78. The settings are real, but the action and what the character goes through is fiction. And I enjoy that, taking the philosophical ideas and put them in a realistic setting. And that's the thing. Ghost has got so many wonderful, wonderful reviews. And tell us a cute story. One of the best characters in the book was a minor character named Joe Boy. And that character was supposed to be in by the mid-book, but that character gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and by the end of the book, he's one of the major characters. Now, here's the neat thing. You don't know whether Joe Boy is real or not real.
Yeah, I know. I've written very similar books myself, and the people become so real to you that, they're real people, although they're fiction. Somehow they take over, don't they?
To take over. And that's part of that fictive dream you want to create when you write.
Yeah.
And I have a great publisher for the last 2 books. It's called Passionate Writer Publishing out of Indiana. They did a marvelous job with both the books, and one's coming up, Purple Family, which is coming up, into this summer. And they just absolutely work with you. Any author, they give an excellent chance, and they put out an excellent product. And I just, it's just something that's unusual in this day and age.
I noticed that some of your books are on ebooks now, on Amazon.
Yes. Yes, ebooks, and also I have the first 2 books, Brownstone and Philly Style, are on Smashwords.com, because I have the ebook rights to them, and I control what they can do. They get new covers, and they have new intros and everything else. But I wanted to do that for the first 2 books. And the interesting, Doctor, that Brownstone is right now is 11 years old and getting stronger, which is really, I just really feel so good about that.
Yeah, that's exciting. You talked about some of the elements of creating a novel. Tell us a little about that.
When you write a novel, Doc, it's not just one; it's a composite of things. You have to have a great opening hook to grab that reader's attention. You'd have a bridge so the reader say, "Wow." Who, what, when, where, why, and how, and you have a great body where you combine the characterization and the dialogue and the setting and description, and you put all those elements together, and you come up with a book that's interesting, that the reader wants to get involved in, and it's a journey, and you want that reader to turn the page, and turn the page. And what I try to do is create a kind of realistic feeling, so when that reader's in that fictive dream, they are there. I really learned this from reading a lot of literature. When you read To Kill a Mockingbird, you are there with Atticus Finch standing next to him. When you are spits in his face, you feel it. So I want the reader to feel and I think that's what my books do. A lot of people say that they're there with the characters. They're right there. They see it. And that's my goal is to make that, and to get that. And who helped me a lot in writing is my editor, Dennis DeRose, out of Milltown, New York. He is a tremendous editor. Every writer's got to have an editor. He takes your words and he gets involved in it, and he makes you understand what you can do. And he does not change your sense of feeling. And that's important to me. And so when you write, and I tell any young writer, have confidence, have a great storyline. And when I teach creative writing, that's what I do. And one of my students named Mary Gill Martin was just published last week with a new book. So And so she learned a lot of things that I tried to do and tried to help, in the writing process.
Mm-hmm. Did I hear you say that you teach? Are you a teacher now?
Yes, I do two things. I teach high school during the day. So just imagine, I teach high school seniors English, and that's a challenge. And then in the evenings, I teach at Emory University. I teach creative writing and I teach publishing. And I try to teach the elements of writing from the very beginning and help guide writers through their process of putting together their books. And that's been exciting because over the years I've helped 5 people to get their books published, and that's exciting for me.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. And you went to City College of New York? Was that right?
Yeah, I went to City College of New York. Oh yeah, a lot of famous people went there. Not myself, a lot of famous people from Salk to the former Defense Secretary went there. All great artists. Keith Sweat, Russell Simmons. So it's a lot of people went there, and it's up in Harlem, and it's not too far from the Apollo. And what we used to do, and I shouldn't just tell this to our students, on Wednesday afternoons, you remember, we used to have a Motown review, and what we do, before was really close friends, we make one of them stay and go to class and take the notes, and we go to the review and have a good time. And we rotate. We rotate.
School.
Yes.
But you can write a book about the Apollo Theater now.
Oh, yes. I mean, it's incredible. And when we used to go by the backstage, you could see them going in. See Diana Ross, you could see Mary Wells, you could see Otis Redding, all of them going in and out the back. And so we had good time. Then the next week, another person would stay and go to that boring economics class. Man, because we got to sit there and take notes. But that was a fun time. City was fun. I know. Oh. Too many busting hours and everything else.
Oh, well, you had an interesting life. At the time, you probably didn't appreciate it, but now you've got wonderful things to write about.
Oh, yes. I just got
I remember the riots of the 60s in Michigan. Of course, I was living in a small town, so we didn't have it, but we would go outside at night and look toward Detroit and see if there were any fireworks lighting up the skies out of Detroit. It was frightening.
My editor, Dennis DeRose, lived in a small town also outside of Brooklyn. And when he read Brownstone, he said for the first time he got a sense of what it was like. Because in Brownstone, I put the reader there in that room looking out the window where you see the whole area going up in flames. And they smell what it smelled like, and the chaos. And so I tried to make that so that the reader could be there. And interesting is that when you write, you never read your book. I've had people who bought the book in England, Isle of Man, Tel Aviv, Australia, and it just blows my mind that someone in those environments sitting there reading about Brooklyn of the 60s. It's something that I sit in this room and write that people want to read, and that's, I think, is the most exciting part. Mm-hmm. And for Ghost won the Reader's Favorite Award, and Deborah Gaynor, she's the one who organized that great award contest. It was 200 books in there, and Ghost won. I get to go to Miami in November to get the gold award, and I'm excited about that.
How did you happen to enter into that contest?
I was a little nervous at first, but it was a contest I saw, and other people that told me, enter the book, so I did. I entered the book, and then it was a long process. Like Purple Phantoms is in there now, it's got a good chance of doing something. You go through a review process, then if you consider the finalists, now in July they'll tell you who's the finalist, and then in September they'll tell you who won and what place. And they're very strict because sometimes they may have a gold winner, a silver winner, and that's all. Sometimes they have a finalist in a category, and that's all. So if the books in that category are not that good, they will not give the award out at all. That's what the award means to win a gold award. Because in my category was a gold, a silver, bronze, and 3 finalists. There was no honorable mention or anything. So they are very, very strict. And so when I did, I was kind of nervous, and I saw it, and I was just so elated. I mean, just absolutely elated with it. And that's because the award, but getting recognized, Dorothy, after 15 years of putting this trilogy together, to cap it off with the last book getting the award means it got better and better and better and better. And that to me is just the most exciting thing. My sister, Rochelle, who's a big fan of mine, she always tells me, you got to do this, you got to do that. You can do it. And it harkens back to Miss Egan, where, you got to have the confidence to go out and do it, and that's what I try to do, and my faith and everything, my faith in God and everything, it really keeps me going.
Tell me a little bit about your new book.
The new book is called Purple Phantoms. And it's totally different. It's not part of the trilogy. Never, ever a trilogy again after 15 years. No more. One book only. And what it is, I coached basketball for teaching for like 15 to 20 years. And over the time, I had basketball players who died young. And so what happened was, I thought, what would happen if they could come back? And they could come back and live out a basketball season. So I got 5 ghosts and 5 humans in this small town, and people really just absolutely just go crazy over it. And and how they react to the people, how they react to the hosts they have, how they interchange from the ghosts and humans, their reaction. Some were good, some were bad. Some came back to continue, some came back to redeem themselves, and what they had to take back with them. And Dennis, who's my editor, read the book. I thought it was going to be a mainstream. He said, no, that's a young adult book. And Purple has gotten a lot of favorable reviews already. I'm excited. And the exciting part now is the cover hasn't come out. So now I'm waiting, depends on news what the cover looks like. And then the book will be out in the summer. And I'm very happy with that. And that's finished and out. And I started my 5th book called Chasing the Wind, which is about taking on life's challenges and events. How do they influence people?
Are you going to bring back your hero again? Make it a series?
Everybody wants me to bring back Pilgrim again. And Joe Boy, this character, the people, I got emails and people, I had a professor that Emory read and said, no, you got to do a separate story on Joe Boy. Because if you read Ghost, Joe Boy is a real person, yet the things he does, people wonder, a human being can't do that because he's here and he's there. And I keep it that way. I want to tell. So people want me to do a whole, continue the story of Ghost with Joe Boy taking on a bigger role. I'm still thinking about that one.
Well, my goodness, you had a very interesting life. It would be fortunate indeed for the children or the young people that are in your class at high school and also in college. They probably don't appreciate you, but maybe someday they will.
They will. Oh, this is a great story, Dorothy. I was in my desk one day, and I got this email, and it was from a young middle school student, and he had read Brownstone in Brooklyn. So the email read, and I quote, "Are you the living author of A Brownstone in Brooklyn?" And I said, "Yes, I am the living author of A Brownstone in Brooklyn." And I went to the school, and he was show and tell, and he read the book and did a book review. And so he just took over the whole school because he had the real author there for his book review. And they talked about the book review. And when I was doing Brownstone, a lot of the kids sometimes would read it and sneak and read it and write comments. Write faster, I want to know what happened, So I try to tell the kids, you can do anything if you put your mind to it. And that's my theme with my kids. Gotta work. You gotta be positive. No matter what's happening around the world now, you the one control you. Not nobody else. You control you. And you gotta take advantage of your God-given ability, and you gotta use that ability. And so I try to get that, and I have been good success. A lot of my students are now doctors, lawyers, all basketball players, all walks of life, And that's the pleasing thing about being a high school teacher. And I teach at Reed Ann High School, which is right near Stone Mountain, and which is one of the better high schools. Yeah, the better high schools in Georgia. in just a normal public high school, but our top 25 can compete with anybody in the country. I mean, we got kids at MIT, Boston University, Duke, everywhere. Yeah,
very impressive. Yeah. Well, listen, Julius, it's been wonderful visiting with you. I hope we have a good recording and that you're happy with it. I think it's about time we sign off, and perhaps we can stay in touch. What do you say?
Yes, we do. Please do. Let's do, Dorothy. Please do. Thank you so much, and I enjoyed this. Thank you for bearing with me.
Oh, you're very welcome. It was wonderful meeting you, and good luck with all of your future work. And now this is Dorothy May Mercer signing off. We'll see you again soon. Bye now.